I do want to dive right in here on Life and Beth. I am a big fan of this show. I had very unexpected feelings, like emotional kind of depth kind of feelings that I was not ready for. But I want to start with the most important thing. Amy, singing karaoke, you sing the sign, Ace of Base. Tell me about, is that your karaoke song? How did that come together?
No, that is not my karaoke song. For a long time, I had written in that it was like what I forget. It was like a Britney and will.i.am song. I think it was like it's Britney, bitch, whatever that song was. And then we were on a location scout, and in this Mexican restaurant, the sign came on, and I was like, "This is what I should sing." And we were all like, "Yeah, let's see if we can afford that." And
Just
we
vibing to it.
We lowered Michael's salary, and we bought it.
Oh, well, I mean, I feel like that was a really good call. In the grand scheme of things, that feels like a great decision.
Yeah.
Well, and Michael, speaking of your character, your entrance is indeed very murdery. He comes in with this bloodstained shirt and just like he's just this blunt guy. And you even have murdery lines. Like, I think it'd be better if we walk home through the woods. No girl is gonna trust that ever, but like, all right. But tell me how you approach this character. How do you make him not super murdery and still this kind of like really lovable guy?
Well, I think just the answer to that is just that he's not murdery, even if that's the reading that he sometimes get, that anybody with instincts would take, and just don't walk through the woods with him. But that's not, I mean, he's a very direct, very simple, and very sweet-hearted person, really. And I think because of that, because he's not going out of his way to put on any kind of performance, he can come across as very abrasive sometimes, but it's coming from a good place, really, of just he knows who he is and he trusts that it'll come through.
How far off from your true self was that? I mean, because you do really get to be very blunt with her in just throughout every scene that you have. So how was that easy for you, or was that a little bit of a challenge?
Well, it was, I mean, not a challenge really, because it was just really strong material that carries you through it. I don't personally possess this like superpower of just being able to say what's just there and obvious. I mean, I say it with my wife, like when we leave a situation, we'll go right to the heart of what the thing was or something when you're in a safe space. But I mean, the thing that I think prevents most of us from just saying what enters our mind all the time is a sort of a predicted reaction that you might get from the listener who might be offended, and an aversion to offending people or to creating a difficult situation. But I think for someone who doesn't do that kind of real-time editing of themselves, they have this benefit of just things just being able to be discussed very plainly, and maybe something will get kind of put on the table that scares everyone at first, but then it's good that it's like brought into the light and you can discuss it.
Yeah. Well, in the vein of real-time editing, Amy, Beth, so she does that and like kind of eases herself off of it as she goes on this journey of the series. She really like I love this character mostly because she's never ever wearing heels. You have a dress on and then you've got like Keds or some sneakers. I was living for it.
Heels are dead. I don't know what I'm gonna. I feel like I have to wear heels when I host the Oscars, and I'm like seriously not sleeping at night thinking about it. I haven't worn heels in so long.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, listen, I would respect it if you wore sneakers to the Oscars, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Barefoot. Walk on the stage barefoot.
Okay. Selena Gomez just did that at the SAG Awards.
She did.
Much love.
There you go.
So that's a precedent. A precedent has been set. We can work with it.
You're right.
But that means, I mean, like what I love about Beth is she's really through this whole series, she doesn't regret the breakup for a single second. It's not like, oh my God, did I just make a big mistake leaving this man? She's like, he's not it, and I don't want it, and I'm going to figure my shit out. And she is getting her shit together. How important was that for you to kind of craft a character like that? Because we don't see it very often.
Yeah. And I think actually I was being like sort of getting studio or network notes. Like I think they were kind of trying to edge me toward that, like they kind of wanted some like questioning of that. And I was just like, no, I feel like she's moving forward, and but of course after a breakup you have to make a huge sexual mistake. Nobody gets away without doing that. But I don't know, I think it still feels kind of exciting to see a woman playing just like a full human being, and not just like, whatever sort of version we've seen written by men for women. So I think that still feels pretty exciting and new. And And I feel like I wrote like a real person, like a couple of real people. So
I think
I'm
that's
proud
what's really, I think that's what's so funny about the relationship with Kevin's character.
yeah, Matt,
Matt, is that Matt sees that whole relationship sort of like within the domain of him being the man of the relationship.
yeah, he's so
And
confused.
yeah, he's just trying to force it into that shape.
Yeah.
And that's just not what it is, or not what
Yeah,
you
like
feel.
really throw, and then but it is like based on movies we've seen or stories like we've all been. So he's like, okay, if I show up on a horse, like if I show up on a horse, like there's just different paths that he's like, oh, I'll figure my way back. It's gonna look like the movies.
Yeah.
Well, and one of my favorite lines in this show is you say there should be a show about teenage girls and what they go through, and it's so meta in the moment. And I'm like, that's what you did, Amy. It's what you did it. You put it here for us.
Yeah, that is true. Speaking of meta, I mentioned Love Island in that scene, and we were interviewed by Laura Whitmore, who hosts Love Island today, and my head was exploding.
Very, very meta. Well, Michael, Amy, that is my time. Thank you so very much. I love the show. Congratulations. And I hope to talk to you again. Amy, you're going to crush it at the Oscars. But yeah,
Thank
go
you.
barefoot. Go barefoot, girl. You don't need shoes.
Okay.